we have to deal with students from diverse groups in the regular classroom. So a kind of exposure is essential. All these things I was thinking. Then when the schedule came, I saw case study and I was not very convinced, and so the coordinator, Dr. Behra, and we had a talk and I was telling why we are having it. All this confusion was there. Now I got I'm not confused now. I am convinced, and I am here to convince you that this is an important activity and you have to do it. This is a kind of situation wherein no escape, you have to be doing. So, do you think it is better to be convinced now? Yes. So we shall see what we are doing in case study. So first, what is case study? Probably you all have heard of this. In which context have you heard of? Research, some of you have heard, and special needs area, some of you have heard, yes? Any other context you have heard of this? What is case study? So let us just see what is case study. There is study, so it is a different type of study. What is study? It is going in detail, getting to know into it, examining something in detail. And what is case study? So it gives a detailed account of analysis of one individual or a group. Case here refers to a unit in totality. It could be an individual or a small group or an institution or an event or anything, but for our context, case study refers to one individual. You are doing that. It's a case is a student showing deviation with reference to learning or behavior. Confining to our area and telling, if we see some deviation in the behavior or the learning pattern of an individual, we consider that particular student for our case study. So that is about what is case study. This is just for you to read. Here is to the kids who are different, the kids who don't always get A's, the kids who have ears twice the size of their peers, that means they are different. Here the example is with reference to the physical deviation, and the noses that go on for days. It could be structural or functional. Here is to the kids who are different. The kids they call crazy and dumb. They are usually called by different names and they are not accepted as in the regular into the norm. The kids who are cute and don't give a hoot, who dance to a different drum. Here is to the kids who are different. The kids with the mischievous streak. For when they have grown, as history is shown, it's their difference that makes them unique. So let us see how do we identify a student to go about with our case study. How do you select a student? So with the earlier slide, I think, and with your little information about this, you know this is a student. We have to select for this purpose a student who is atypical. What is atypical? Atypical is the one who is different. Okay? Considered with reference to behavior, when we have to consider atypical behavior, it is based on cultural norms or rules or expectations. See, here my expectation or the expectation of the program is that all of you sit and listen and take notes and learn. If some of you are getting up and walking here and there or sitting with eating chips or drinking coffee, we consider that as deviant, right? Because we expect that. That is, in a way, it is a cultural norm also. Classroom, a discipline is expected. We expect a particular kind of behavior, and if somebody is not sticking on to that or into the framework, we consider that. So it is not good or bad or right or wrong here, but it is with reference to the cultural norms and the expectation. When the student goes to school, first standard, teacher expects or the school system expects that the student sits in a place and whatever the teacher says, writes on the blackboard, copy, all should copy. There is one student who may not like to copy for various reasons, we do not know. But immediately the tag or the label will go, he is disturbing, he is a hyperactive child. Any kind of tag will go to that child because the child is not adhering to the rules. It is our expectation. And cultural norms also, usually our culture, we expect that girls do not do certain activities in school or do not take part in some sports activities, riding the motorbike. But you have proved, RIE Bhubaneswar students proved that there is no stereotype in gender with reference to gender. You have done a very good job and you have shown that you are also empowered or you can lead. In our culture, I remember when a boy cries, we say, oh, why did he's crying like a girl. These are all cultural norms which we are very much rooted to. It's difficult to come out. So if a boy is crying, we feel he is different. If a girl is trying to dress or act or do something different like a boy, we say, oh, you are a girl, you are not supposed to. So it is all, atypicalness is not right or wrong or good or bad, but it is about the expectation or the cultural norm. Range of variability with reference to intensity and rate. So here when we select, we should keep in mind two things. One is the intensity of the deviant behavior. Okay. How intensive is it? Somebody is hitting others, aggressive behavior, or calling names, abusing others. So, how intense it is, number one. If it is something like a small thing, it may be a friendly stroke. It need not be hurting or the intensity may not be very much. And another very important thing is the rate. That means how often, the frequency of the behavior. If such small intensity behavior is continuing for per class 10 times if the student is exhibiting, we have to give attention to that kind of behavior. So not only intensity, we have to keep in mind the intensity of that deviant behavior, and another thing is the rate or the frequency. How often it is being exhibited in the behavior. If a student wants to go out in the class once, it's okay. But in one class of 45 minutes, if 4 times if the student wants to go out, then we have to observe or note that child. That's all. We need to, let me come to it, why we are considering this. So we should be very careful. Maybe when I get the chance, let me make it very clear. Let us not make it very obvious that we are choosing this particular child for our case study. It should be done in such a way that you are giving little attention to the child, not because of the deviation you don't like or is not expected of, but it should be attended to. The very obvious kind of, we were discussing, somebody was saying like, when the students, I know so when our students go to school for selecting students for their practical work, it is like they want students somehow or the other. Same situation is there for you, I know, because 100 of you are going, say for 70 of you are going to one particular institute, and each one of you will look for one student for the sake of your study. So it looks like, you know, you will run behind somebody and say, come, 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 I want to. And there is a tendency that we say case study, I want a case. So these are all very negative references for students. So that is why I am also being very cautious. They are students for us. They are children for us. Case study is a term given to it. Let us not, you know, say for my case study, case, that if this reaches the student, it may do more harm than the good what you are intending to be doing in case study. Be very, have that sensitivity when you are selecting a student. And if the behavior, when do you have to attend to this behavior, or when do you consider a student that you have to attend to the student or analyze the student behavior or the event? When the behavior is affecting the individual, the behavior may be affecting the person who is involved or others, the neighbors. Sometimes I am not at all having any harm, I am doing harm to others. The group may be affected, or sometimes it might disturb the setup, the classroom functioning. Hurting others, I may not have any harm, but I may be hurting others. I can consider, for your case study, we can think of this kind of a student. Or sometimes very shy behavior, I have lots of potentialities, but because of inferiority complex or too much of shyness, I don't come out to answer in the class or to perform in a class school celebration. Then it is affecting in the way of the individual's growth, personal development. That also we can consider. And if it is disturbing the function of the school, like not rule abiding, not coming to the class regularly, coming late always, right? It affects the function. Yeah, I can see some reactions, coming late to class. So once coming late, that is what is the intensity and the how late. Is it 5 minutes late or 45 minutes late? Or the frequency, daily or once in a semester? So this kind of questions you keep in mind and select a student for the purpose of your work, case study. So this is one question which I had within me, and I did discuss with Lakshmidhar also, but he was so busy, he didn't have time to convince me, I know. He has been working so hard since 1 month. Because of that at least, I want you to take multicultural placement very seriously and see that you do the work sincerely. So much of thought has gone behind and so much of effort has been there in seeing that you are all here today and tomorrow you are traveling, tomorrow or some of you are traveling a day after. So much of effort has gone, and really he didn't have much time to discuss, and I started questioning myself. I wanted to get convinced why we should do it in this multicultural placement, in this 15 days of your field visit, why you should be doing. Okay, one is of course requirement, we cannot run away from it, it is part of our program, we shall do it. That's a duty bound behavior of a student. I know you will all do it. Knowing first year BA student, I have special regard for you for your duty bound behavior. Whatever task is given, you have been doing, and I am sure you will do this also. But it adds to the work when you know why you are really doing it. What in the program, in this teacher education program, we call it training, right? In the process of your training, it is not only the content, the pedagogy, but as an individual, we have to function as a teacher. The professionalism which goes with this teaching profession has to be developed. I thought this really gives a chance for all of us, this kind of a field exposure and doing a small case study will give a chance for us to get into the minute details of tuning ourselves into being a better professionals. Let me see whether you get convinced or not. See, why this within 4-5 days of one school observation? If we don't give this, you will be running from class to class trying to manage the lesson given. But since you have this, now you are oriented, you know you have to do. I am sure this should prepare you to be alert to the behavior of the student. In any class you go, you will be alert, you will be watching students. Because you want to identify one for the purpose of your case study. One is your alertness as a teacher for a behavior of the student. We should be doing, even if 100 students are there, we should be watchful. We should have that sensitivity. It is not the group, it is not the number which matters, but it is the sensitivity with which we, even through eye contact. Now also I can make out who is doing something else. Who is thinking, I have to go home. And the lights are also dim. But somehow I am not seeing anybody trying to sleep, or somebody is there, I don't know, I am not able to reach. You can be, so being alert, this gives you a chance to be alert to all the student behaviors. And another thing is, being sensitive, developing the sensitivity towards all learners. It's not that I go to the class, I teach, I give the questions, I'm very happy the way I taught and I go. That is also one aspect. But however I try, maybe there are some students who are not able to learn the way I teach. One possibility is they may need a different way, or they may have some emotional problems or a behavioral difficulty wherein they can sit and listen to a class of 40-45 minutes. That every child may have a special need to participate in the classroom. That sensitivity can be developed with this activity for you. And look into a behavior from wider perspective. See, the one who comes late to class, why did you come late? Can't you have your breakfast and come fast? Can't you get up early and come to class? This is one angle as a teacher we always think. One child is coming, not learning in the class, we always start blaming first the student, then the parents. The parent is not taking interest, the parent is not attentive, they are not giving any time and effort to the student. That is one perspective I have observed, maybe you have also seen. We have one way of looking at a deviant behavior, trying to blame the individual, at most the family. But there could be so many other things involved in it, which we may fail to look into, and this gives an opportunity to you to look into a behavior from wider perspective. When you come to the format, you will realize there are so many things which you look in. When you keep that in mind, your thinking becomes broader. You will see sometimes so many surprising factors you come out with in your learning. So finally it is understand a student. This case study, doing a case study in the multicultural placement creates, see, you are going to be teachers, yes, second year, student and own responsibility of every student in the class. We are beginning to think that this student is not learning, but still let me see. That is why you do the case study, you come out with some activities, what might help. You are not actually implementing it in this program, but you will think what you are doing with this student. This student is not able to learn, or this student is disturbing the class. What shall I do? That means the responsibility, the onus is on the teacher. Why we are taking the responsibility? When you go about doing this activity, you will realize and you will start liking it, you will start enjoying it, or this is a kind of, once you start owning the responsibility, you like to do it more and more. This is a kind of beginning to take responsibility of all the students. And develop critical and creative thinking among students. That means students, I refer to the student teachers here. You think the situation, you start analyzing what could be the reason, you read more about that, because you may not know why the student is behaving. You may discuss with some of your teachers, you may want to know more about it. So you think in different ways and you develop creativity also. Like you think this way of teaching is not helping the student, let me think of some other way. You will want to change your ways of teaching. You want to say anything, or you want to, any doubt? Huh?
You want to get a case?
So now the final point, how shall I go about? This is what is there in your mind, I know. Ma'am is telling so many things, this is not necessary for us. What shall I do? When I go to school, the ready-made, what is that? Ready to eat package is coming now. What do you do? The format is given to you. Identification data is there. Go through it. I am sure you don't have any doubt. Later you can clarify if it is there. Description of the problem. Second one, the next part of it, you have to describe the problem. What do you write here? Just a direct preparation for you to finish the task. 5 minutes. What do you write under description of the problem? Or can he give the tea inside? How is it? No.
Finish.
Description of the problem, you have to write as you notice. Shall I complete, or you want to have tea and come back? Okay, I will not take much time. Description of the problem is you have to write down the behavior or the phenomena as you have observed, as you notice. You are not trying to reason it out or interpret or anything. What you have observed. The student is scoring less in the mark, or not attentive during the class discussion, not able to copy from the blackboard. When question is asked, the student is not able to answer. Whatever it is as noticed, you have to write there. And nature of the problem, here I have made it optional. You may or you may not write that portion, because nature of the problem is the conceptual clarity. You have to be very clear about the problem to write that particular head. So it is optional. If you are aware of it, if you are able to refer, read and get details, you write it. Otherwise, you may leave that nature of the problem. So if you want to know the difference, you can ask me, I can tell you, but it looks like I am taking more time. Yes, Amita?
Description of the problem and what is the difference between nature of the problem?
See, description of the problem is as you see, as you notice, you when the teacher is speaking. When I am asking the question, the student looks around, not able to tell the answer. When I call the name, the student is not attending to me. This is description. Conceptual clarity is, that is nature. What is the nature of this problem? So I have so it is little technical, or it is the real concept. So conceptual clarity here, that is by the description, it looks like the child may be having hearing impairment. So in the nature of the problem, you should be writing, it is an inability to perceive sound at normal range of hearing. That is, if possible, you can say up to 25 decibels is the normal hearing range, which the child is not able to perceive. The problem arises due to either structural or functional deviation in the organ of hearing or in the hearing mechanism. This is what is the clarity of that, which is called as nature of the problem. For example, the student is not scoring marks. That you can explain. The student doesn't do homework or not interested in the lesson. This is the description. Scoring less mark and all. When you come to do the nature of the problem, you should know what it is. Is it, see, for various reasons, the marks may be less. Is it slow learning? Is it underachievement? So like the distinction, or is it learning disability? Then you have to explain the nature of that. Underachievement. What is the nature of underachievement? What is the nature of learning disability? Here, for example, I am giving you the nature of hearing impairment. Here you say this, and here there is the, you have to talk about the positive and correlative factors also. Like this impairment could be mild, moderate or severe, depending upon the intensity and frequency of the loss of sound signal. This is the nature of that problem you are explaining. This could be conductive or sensory neural based on the site of lesion. So all this is the nature which needs deeper understanding into the description of the problem which you have noticed. If you can do it, well and good, you can discuss, you can read, you can get it, you can write. But I am telling, it might be little difficult for you, so it can be optional. Probable reason. See, for example, poor performance, probable reason you will be writing that the student is not having proper study habit. Maybe in discussion you will come to know the student is spending more time on watching TV, or you may be observing the student spends more time with laptop or mobile. So you record these things, no proper study habit, no span of attention, the student does not concentrate. So these kind of thing you can write based on the discussion or observation. You can even discuss with the teachers. Strengths of the student. This is the coping skills of the student. For example, there will be something. See, this is again, I am telling you, when we see a deficient or a deviation in the child's behavior, always we think of the negatives. There could be some positives in the student. Because you are doing a case study here, you will attend to the strengths of the student. Because you have to note down. Every student, when the student is very, he comes forward to help always, or takes leadership in the class, is very communicative. Yes? His communication is very good. He is very friendly, or she is very friendly. These are the strengths of the student, through which, why we call it as coping skills is, through that you can try to address the problem behavior, making use of the strength. Then possible remedies. Here comes your thinking. You have to creatively think. This way is not, this way usually I address the whole class, but I have to use a different way of addressing the student. Then you think of, for example, the student is scoring less. You say individually, the student is not able to perform this particular activity. Individually attend to the child, discuss the concept, give practice for long-term memory, practice writing exams, give the question and let the student write. Sometimes the student may have the concept, but attending to a question and writing the answer may be difficult. Give that practice. All these come under supervision. You are just seeing further. You are not actually doing, but you have to visualize. You have to visualize the child to be performing at least to the level which is accepted. The behavior which is accepted by the society, that is the norm to some extent. But while doing it, we should remember, we should not try to change a person. We have to unite. A student may have lesser ability in mathematics. It doesn't mean that we have to improve his performance to the highest level, or a student may be finding it difficult to sit in the class for 1 hour. We need to see the difference in the child and cater to the difference. We should keep this also in mind. If possible, you can add that also in the end, the difference as a remarkable part. The difference also sometimes, or most of the time, contributes to the development of the individual and also to the society. Keep that in mind. You see the positives in the deviant behavior also. You can try. I am just suggesting one more. Thank you so much for the patient listening. I was